Parrot TV, the voice for humanity.
Hi, welcome to the New York Parrot Literary Corner. I'm Dustin Pickering, your honorable host. Today we have Panaglota Bletas. Sorry for the mispronunciation. She was born in Greece. She studied in New York, and she has worked with Greek and foreign business groups and organizations active in the fields of consulting, political business research, communication, business and academic education, food, franchise, and high-level management and shareholder cooperation positions. She has written 19 books, the self-improvement philosophy book, Discover Your Super Self, and the play Everything is Violence, the political financial books, The Illusion of Development, Consumer Manufacturing Industry, Ethics of Democracy, Ground Zero, Dragons and Debts, Fair Twists, Powerful Truths, Unpowerful Leaders, The 50 Shades of War, The Doctrine of Poverty, and the poetry collections Disobedience, If You Are a Refugee, Question of the Revolution, Fuck You Do the Unexpected, Unfuck Greece, Free Up Greece, Letters to Lost Homeland, Unfuck the World, Free Up the World, and Naked Confessions, as well as more than 250 articles and several research studies, which have been published in Greek and international sites, newspapers, and magazines. And she has given over 100 interviews in Greek and international media. Thanks for joining us today, Pia. Sorry, your name is tricky for me. Panagiata, I believe. It's nice to meet you, and hopefully we'll have a great conversation. So I hope your day is going well.
Hi, Dustin. Nice to meet you also.
So, it's very interesting how much you've written and on how many diverse topics. So the New York Parrot Literary Corner, I mean, it's you don't just do poetry, you've also done business books, you've done plays and all sorts of variety. So I'm curious what brought you to being such prolific and versatile art forms.
Well, I just expressed my need to address the what happens in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I express it through different types of writing, through business and political expression, through poetry. I just want to send messages to the world about what concerns us more today, like people, like according to whatever we need to do about protecting the environment, concerning other subjects like that concern the whole humanity, the solidarity that we need to develop in a global state, and that's why I have this diversity in the kinds of forms of writing forms that I use.
So are you attempting to address different audiences for different purposes, but with the same sort of I guess, I don't know, complaints, I guess you could say, like, you're trying to address with the same themes, but you're using different forms, different styles, and are you trying to reach different audiences with your different books, or is it just how you feel to present yourself?
Well, both.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, both. I am trying to do both, to approach new audiences and also to send messages, actually the same messages in a different way to the world about what's happening today. And
Right, and of course, it's very pertinent right now that we face a lot of these issues head on, and and so you writing it for business leadership and self-help and all sorts of different subject matter related to improvement. And I'm curious, what led you to writing self-help, and what could you offer generally for the purpose of, like, what observations can you offer on about writing self-help books? Is there it's a very different style than, say, poetry or the typical like playwright or something. So I'm curious what you could say about the process of writing a self-help book.
You are talking about the self-improvement book, Discover
Yes.
Yourself. This is my last book. Well, I thought that I should use these two and these self-improvement techniques so that I can say to the world that I can send the message to the world that you should search inside you and find the ideology that lies inside you and express it, and then you'll see yourself changing. And if you improve the relationship with yourself, you can improve the relationship with the others, and you can see things that you may not see before. So actually, you can say more details, things that we say in poetry, things that that messages that we are trying to send through poetry using symbolic expressions. You can say it in more details through a self-improvement book. The purpose of writing this book was to help people find the values that they hide inside them and bring them into the surface and exploit more themselves and the others also, and find ways to collaborate with the other people and to get in touch with the other people. And I think the main goal in all my books is how to get people, to make people getting closer to each other, and how to live, how it's a way, it's my understanding and of how I see, it's the way that I see the world working.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. So it's really about helping people improve intercommunication skills and how to address their value systems and in an honest way. So that's fascinating, and how that actually improves, I guess you could say, mental health as well as the general public health. You find there's a connection there?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what are your thought processes like when you sit down to write? Is there do you have set of ideas? You jot down some basic theses that you would work with, or plan out the book ahead of time in some way?
Yes, I do have a set of ideas that I'm working through a long period of time, and I make hand notes, before I get into the computer and type my whole thoughts, and that's the way that that I'm doing it, and yeah. I do have a set of ideas, and there is an inspiration somewhere, somewhere in the people, somewhere in the atmosphere that makes me want to express, makes me want to to express my feelings and to make a point about something that I see, that I observe, that annoys me, that and I keep a note, and then I clarify my notes, and here comes the book.
Right. So what sort of themes do you explore in your poetry collections?
Well, let's talk about one of my last books. The title is If You Were a Refugee.
Mm-hmm.
And this book has to do with the whole situation in the world today. We do know that there is a big problem with refugees, and my point is, and the idea is how to show solidarity to all these people, and because every one of us, each one of us, can become a refugee at some time of in our lives. So it's very important that we realize the state of life of these people, and embrace them, and that was the idea behind this book, and it's dedicated to all refugees around the world. And let me tell you a few words about the prologue of the book, which shows the whole idea. The prologue of the book is if one man is a refugee, then all the people are refugees. If one man is poor, then all the people are poor. If one man is a working slave, then all the people are working slaves.
Mm-hmm.
And my culture is not classified into classes. I just want to make the world better. And that's what is stated in the prologue of the book. So that's one of the themes that I addressed. This book was written in 2019 and was published in Greece, and it's been translated, and it's published also in the English language through Amazon.
Interesting, and I like the sort of communal aspect of that thought. You know, that it's you know, if one person is in suffering or struggle in any capacity, then the whole community is sort of stigmatized by that in a way, and sort of it needs to be addressed. And it's a plea with your audience to address these concerns in a constructive way, and you're doing that through literature and through poetry, where people can kind of relate and see that, I think, more on an emotional, subjective kind of level. So, you know, that's an interesting thing to address, and especially since it's very pertinent right now, and there's so many refugees in this crisis going on all over the world. So I'm curious. Also, you've written some books concerning the economic situation in Greece as well, and I'm curious how that situation had affected your writing, and how are these events? How is Greece recovering from the debt default in 2015?
Well, there isn't much improvement since 2015. We are still in crisis, and you know, the crisis is deeper also after the epidemic. Yeah, it's becoming steeper, and we haven't seen anything yet. I mean, we haven't seen the reality yet, because right now, you know, most of the local businesses go through a huge crisis, and we don't know if they will survive. What I
Mhm.
believe, is that more than 50% of the local businesses, the small and medium-sized um, companies, will not survive this crisis.
Mhm.
So it's going to be very hurtful for the people here in Greece. And I think that there are other countries also that they suffer this phenomenon. It's happening to
Mhm.
other countries also, especially
Right.
smaller countries.
Absolutely.
And if the small and medium-sized companies suffer and they will finally not survive this crisis, then we're gonna see the unemployment rising up very
Mhm.
high,
Mhm.
and this is awfully bad. I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't know what's gonna happen in the future, and well, yeah, in 2015, if I remember well, I wrote another poetic book
Mhm.
called Anti-Greece.
Mhm.
And there is a story behind this book.
Mhm.
I have a sign. You remember the big demonstration happening here in Greece? So in the beginning of 2015, I made a handmade sign, Antac Greece,
Mhm.
and I took it with me in the demonstration.
Mhm.
So many media um, photographed the sign, and after some months, some months after the demonstration, I saw in the news that the band, the YouTube band,
Mhm.
in their when they had these big events in USA and Canada, music events, when they were singing the song, I can't remember well, there is a song. Well, there was the sign in the screen, in the big
Mhm.
screens that they had
Mhm.
in the event. There was the sign on Fact Greece from the demonstration. My
Mhm.
sign from the demonstration happened here in Greece,
Mhm.
and it was like that we are studying for Greeks. It
Mhm.
was like that kind of expression on behalf of the band and the whole US people, let's say. It was very moving, and
Mhm.
because of that, I thought I was writing these days, poems regarding the whole crisis here in Greece
Mhm.
and the whole situation. And well, after that, I thought that I should write a book with the title Anti-Greece.
Mhm.
So
Interesting.
the prologue of the book addresses the story, what
Mhm.
happened with the sign, how it started. So I write about the demonstration, and then
The journey of the sign and the of the and it kind of expresses the national character a little bit and the situation in a sort of, you know, creative and it's a funny way, but at the same time it's very serious. It's protest. It's demonstrating against the crisis and the corruption behind it. So would you like to read a poem or two for us?
Of course, of course. Well, I would like to read a poem, to read from the book If You Were a Refugee. Yeah, I
Okay.
would like to read you some poems from this book.
Hmm.
Um, um,
So our viewers out there, this is the New York Parrot Literary Corner, and I'm Dustin
okay.
Pickering.
Hi to everybody. uh, well, the first poem, the title is, it's called Greek Pontian Genocide, and it's dedicated to the 100 years of memory
Mhm.
of Greek Pontian Genocide, which came refugees to Greece after that. But as I said before, the whole book is dedicated to the refugees all over the world, and this poem also. So, a handful of people was hanged under my left armpit, and while my heart was hurt, the monster sitting opposite to me was spreading into my eyes and my arms and legs. And it was not among the trees, nor on the mountains, nor in the depths of sea. The man inside the man learned how to kill. You have any comments for that poem, or would you like me to continue?
That it's an interesting poem. It makes me think of the Hydra, the mythological character. I don't know why that comes to mind, but it's quite. There's a little bit of a fear factor to it. But if you'd like to read another poem, feel free.
Mm-hmm. The other one is called the Blue Eyeline. My body defied me and I have surrendered. I became what I am not. But the soul remembers the truth. In how many separate worlds do I have to live? For days I have fought in the dark. Suddenly a light sprang from my stomach. A light sprang from my stomach and pierced my eyes. I felt my deep desire turn into a solution. A blue island was there to welcome me. And
That was interesting, and it has a little bit of surreal quality. But I think it's interesting that both of those poems address the body, but a very metaphorical way to sort of express the physical situation of being a refugee and how this is affecting the world. It's very fascinating. I love the way you use color and the body and light and that and so forth. It's very fascinating.
Thank you. And let me, the other one is called For My Freedom. There are fires at my back and prisons in front of me. Your heart is enough for my freedom. The syrup will water my closed mouth. Sweet kiss before I die.
Wow. There's like a need being expressed there with the water, so it kind of goes to the desperation of a situation. I think
Yes,
that's what being expressed there.
exactly. And the other one is Homeland to Enjoy. Who knows, who owns, what stranger, what sun, what darkness hides you? Enjoy Homeland, you who can have it, you who takes care of me and you who do not, you who hates me and you who do not share a piece of land with me. I dedicate to you my soul's belongings. In front of your door, I leave my children. My sick and lost home, I deliver to you.
It's a very humanistic poem, I think, and it's, you know, about the sacrificing one's own space to people coming in who have nowhere else to go. You know, that's my observation. And I really like how deep. I mean, he uses some very illuminating circumstances in that poem to express the depth and confusion of that situation. It's very beautiful.
Thank you, thank you.
And thank you for sharing those. It's very remarkable. You know, there's so much physicality and sense of what's going on in the world and how it's being changed in those poems, and how it's very personal as well, and not just like the world itself, but there's also a very strong personal element to how it affects a person within you know, the situation, and not just the world at large, but becomes a very confessional in a way. So thank you for sharing those. You know, another thing I was curious about is your book, The Illusion of Development. What is some of your ideas there in that? It's a very strange title.
Well, actually, it is what it says. It is what the title says. It's not a metaphoric title.
Right.
It means what the title means, the illusion of development. I mean, what we believe is development is not actually development. It's an illusion of development. We think, we believe that through consumption, through overconsumption, especially, and through other ways of life, that that development comes in our life, and we're going to change, and we are going to elevate our personality and our status of life and our status quo, but it's an illusion.
Right.
The real development is when we respect ourselves and the other people around us. When we get concerned about what's happening in the world and what's happening in the environment, and that's when the real development starts and
right.
starts coming on.
Absolutely. So there's like more of a moral and social dimension of development that's neglected, rather so much than the economic and material development that we're so fond of calling progress.
Yeah.
So how do you develop that thesis? I mean, is it something that just, you know, sort of unnaturally unfolds, or do you take sort of steps and process in explaining how you're going about explaining what you're communicating?
Well, it's an essay. This book is an essay, and it has. I also use statistics inside the book so that people get to know what's happening behind its theme that the book analyzes. So.
Interesting. So we have about a remaining, you know, 7 or 8 minutes, and I have a kind of a political question. What does it mean exactly for a country to default on its debt?
Well, you know, the debt is huge. We cannot overcome our debt. We should invent as a society, we should invent other ways than pressing the society to hold on its back these huge debts, even from the epidemic, through the epidemic, or from other situations. And this way that the international politics, the way that international politics work today, not only for Greece, but in general, does not lead anywhere, does not give solution to the people, to the world. So we do have to see the human factor, the social factor. We cannot use only mathematics and only numbers that indicate how much do I owe you, how much do you owe me, and
right. Of course. I mean, I think, you know, it's a very, it's almost a form of slavery to be burdened with debt. I mean, you're constantly trying to pull out and trying to get ahead, and you're constantly being leveled, you know. And it's like this credit cards do this. I mean, they do this to countries, they do this to people in the country.
exactly.
And it's stressful to people who are trying, just want to live and enjoy life, and then you get burdened with this, you know, this prospect of never being able to get out of that situation. And so it is a sort of, you know, lukewarm form of slavery, to say the least.
It is. That's what I'm saying in my books.
Excellent.
That's
And,
what
and
I'm
it's great.
saying.
It's a great message. And I hope I mean, there's got to be some way. I think with this pandemic and all the situations on the world, we're really going to have to start addressing these problems.
Yes, finally,
So,
finally.
yes,
We should.
they've hit the brick wall. I mean, they really have.
Yeah,
I'm not sure where we'll go from here, you know, but I think we're going to have to do make some major changes all over the world to make sure we realize that people are indeed, you know, people. You know, we're not, like you said, we're not numbers. We're not numbers on a palette, you know, somewhere. You know, we're you know, those are all, you know, nice tools to control people, really.
yes,
keep people
exactly.
at the bottom. You know, it's really sad how some people are so greedy and so mean spirited, and that they perpetrate the system and they keep it running that way.
Exactly.
You know, very sad. So if you would like to say, you know, give a few words of advice to people out there, you know, artists, poets and writers, and people thinking on these subjects, and or just a few shout outs to friends and family or other people publishers even, who've influenced you in your writing career and your journey. We have a few minutes to do that if you'd like to.
Well, what I like to say to people is, to poets especially, is to write more about what's happening today in the world. And we should the voices, we should multiply the voices, writing through poetry, through essays, through any kind of literature or writing, any form of writing. We should address all the issues and all the whatever concerns the world today. And so what I mean is, if we multiply our voices, then we will be heard. And poetry is a very good way, it's an excellent way to stand up for your rights and demonstrate in your own way.
A very personal voice, and it's extraordinarily powerful. You know, and I think it's definitely a good way to address social change and personal change, as well as emotional development in yourself. Definitely.
Well, history changes through poetry.
And it's a record of where we've been and where we're going. It's interesting how that works. I mean, the great religions are all based on poetry.
Yes.
You know, I mean,
Because
there's just no doubting that.
exactly. Because poetry inspires people.
The language is what we're made of. You know,
Yes.
it's who we are. It's how we, you know, it's how we interact and communicate what's going on with in ourselves and our minds and with what we're seeing, and we all come to these agreements about things, and it's I
Yeah.
like the idea of everyone putting their own thing into the pot and making it a big, you know, a
Bigger.
big
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, and if there's a lot going on in the world, and there's people voicing their system, their value systems and their thoughts, and there's bound to be a lot of people that agree that something needs to move, you know, that things need to change, and eventually will push forward. I think it'll break.
Mhm.
So if you want to say, you know, thank you to your publishers or to friends and family, there's still
Well,
time for
I
that.
would like to say, of course, thank you to my publishers and to my family and to all the people that they are next to me all these years, and they embrace my books and
Mhm.
me. And I would like also to thank you
Thank you
for
as
having
well.
me today, for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts with you. And
We're very glad to have you.
thank you
We
so
were
very much.
a very interesting conversation about the social and personal nature of poetry, as well as a little bit of the economics and how that works. And there's so much that's neglected, I think, in a lot of our discourse, exactly how human economic dimensions are. And it's nice that you're writing about this. I'm very glad to hear that these are being written about this from this angle. You know, you hear it, like you said, economics is mathematical, analytical, and so forth. You don't see the so abstract and numerical and quantitative. It's not about the interpersonal or that people don't see that these economic situations actually affect real concrete people. So I appreciate you addressing that, and thank you for joining us on the show. And so we're going to go ahead and close, and again, thank you very much, and thank you to our viewers and subscribers. We're looking for 1 million subscribers, so please share the word with others if you enjoy what we're doing. And this is the New York Parrot, and we would love to hear from you at the literary corner at newyorkparrot.com if you would like a platform for your artistic endeavors and to talk about the creative process. And we also have donation available if anybody would like to donate a little to help us move forward. That would be at paypal.me/nyparrot. Please leave some comments for us on these videos and tell us what you like and don't like, and maybe, you know, any kind of commentary is great. We'd love to hear from you. And thank you for joining us on the show again. And thank you to our viewers and subscribers. This has been the New York Parrot Literary Corner, and I am Dustin Pickering. Next time we'll see you
Thank
guys
you to
again in another
all
part of the
the
globe.
viewers too. Thank you to you, and thank you so much. And